Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a literal blueprint for terror. We are unpacking a highly detailed script that was custom-built to construct the ultimate true mystery narrative around the infamous Dyatlov Pass incident. So settle in, because the atmosphere we're about to decode together is incredibly dark, totally cinematic, and honestly, completely unsettling.
9 hikers, 1 mountain, 0 survivors. I mean, just let that brutal math sink in for a second, right? The architectural plans for this story actually demand this shocking hook right in the first 5 seconds. By dropping this stark reality on us immediately, it establishes this terrifying heavy mood before we even know a single detail about the journey itself. It absolutely demands your attention from the word go.
Section 1. Shadows of Kholat Shakla.
You know what's really wild about this source material? It doesn't just ask for a dry retelling of facts. It mandates highly specific, almost visceral visual cues. We're talking a dark, snowy mountain at night, lost hikers in a blizzard, and this overarching, inescapable horror atmosphere. It's purposely using scene directions to pull you directly out of your seat and drop you onto that freezing mountain right alongside the doomed expedition.
Section 2. Lost in the Blizzard.
Okay, let's look at how this tragedy actually unfolded chronologically. Day 1. Our seasoned hikers confidently ascend Kholat Shak. But then, night 1 hits and a ferocious blizzard strikes the mountain, completely flipping the script from a fun adventure to a desperate fight for survival. By night 2, the awful reality truly sets in. They are hopelessly lost. You can practically feel the walls of the storm closing in on them step by blinding step.
The temperature dropped. The wind howled. The blueprint specifically recommends using short, punchy sentences here because, well, they mimic the staccato rhythm of a racing heartbeat. It strips away all that complex narration, leaving us with just the raw, suffocating isolation of being trapped in a whiteout. Try to actually put yourself in their boots for a minute. That creeping, horrifying realization that you are entirely at the mercy of the freezing elements.
Section 3. The Torn Camping Tent. Now this is the crucial turning point, where a tragic accident morphs into a completely terrifying mystery. The source text vividly describes a torn camping tent in deep snow, framing it as a horror cinematic scene shot in a gritty, realistic documentary style. And the undeniable, chilling fact that baffled investigators, the tent was ripped open from the inside out. Left completely abandoned in the deep snow, it breaks literally every single rule of wilderness survival.
So, what exactly were they running from? By dropping this massive, unsolved question right smack in the middle of the narrative, the script expertly hooks us. The sheer impossibility of the situation forces us to lean in and actively engage. You simply can't look away when a question this dark is left hanging in the freezing air.
Section 4. Footprints into the darkness.
Barefoot, in the freezing snow. Think about that for a second. This single detail communicates absolute, unfiltered, sheer panic. I mean, no experienced mountaineer just leaves their gear and steps out into a deadly, howling blizzard without boots. Not unless whatever was inside that tent was perceived to be infinitely worse than freezing to death.
The blueprint specifically asks to depict mysterious footprints leading into darkness. It's focusing entirely on the paralyzing suspense of the unknown. They aren't just walking away to find help, they are descending into an absolute terrifying void.
It's like a giant, deadly puzzle. Consider the impossible contrast they faced in those final moments. On one hand, you have the camping tent, their only shelter, holding all their vital cold weather gear, representing at least relative safety. On the other hand, you have the choice they actually made, fleeing headlong into the deadly, frozen darkness. Highlighting this completely irrational choice pulls us so much deeper into the psychological tension. It makes zero logical sense, which is exactly why it is so incredibly frightening.
Section 5. Theories and Creepy Details.
Let's stack up the facts here, because when you look at them all together, the eerie details are overwhelming. We have a tent violently sliced open from the inside. We have essential life-saving gear deliberately left behind in the snow. We have bare footprints belonging to seasoned hikers. And finally, we have their ultimate fatal decision, fleeing away from the only safety they had down into the dark forest. By systematically laying out these facts, the mystery slowly, heavily builds in your mind.
To bring this tragedy to its visual conclusion, the text gives us one last striking scene direction: a dark, frozen forest at night, bathed in cold blue lighting. And that lighting isn't just some random aesthetic choice. It's a psychological tool meant to make us subconsciously feel the freezing, bitter end of their journey.
Which leaves us with the ultimate, haunting cliffhanger. What truly hides in the shadows of the dark, frozen forest? Was it a freak natural disaster, a human threat, or something else entirely? By meticulously following this blueprint of suspense, we find ourselves staring into the exact same terrifying darkness those 9 hikers faced. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep questioning what lies in the shadows.